Abusua mo akwa eba daily update TV eso. Amenfa nkopiem ewa OSP Kesi Ejabin the office of the special prosecutor. Kesi Ejabin sa medo ba voice out wa open up wa breaking the silence. Wabekasa afa Ghana issue ne former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta ewon ho. Wabeka nsem bebre afa ho. Security institutions are no more on minima or preventing no then timer na N.Addo president and making powerless ni nyina sa me papa be up wabekasa afa ni nyina ho. A osa ka intention Ken Ofori-Atta wo ida so beba Ghana na se o magana bio o de ni nyina atodwa. Yes emre ne mepesi enkutin free papa na enum e wo sa ensem enso eho.
To them, you need experts in the field. You need tax experts. You need those who are well versed in classification of customable items. You need experts based in external price verification. You need experts in downstream petroleum measurement audit. You need experts in upstream. You need experts in the mineral sector. It was a conflagration of so many disciplines coming together in respect of this investigation. So when we took that 1 year to patiently study and investigate this case, by January 2025, we were upgoing. That's when we started calling people in. And that's when we then noticed that the main perpetrator from our standpoint, the main perpetrator had no intention of returning back to the country. Of course, he had left the country earlier in the year during the transition. Now we should place this in proper context because we've attracted some flag that why did we allow him to go? Mr. Misa, he left before 7 January. Between 1st, I know there's that date, but I'm not going to mention it. All I'm saying is between 1st and 6th January, he had left. Who was in power during those few days? And we don't control the airports. We don't control the exit. The OSP doesn't control the exit points. But we are taking flag day in and day out. Why did we allow him to
so
go?
So in a nutshell, in a nutshell, that the person we are talking about, who is Ken Ofori-Atta, left the country when people who had the power to have prevented it saw it happen and didn't do anything?
No, let me put it this way. His cousin was president. Let's face facts.
Yeah.
Before John Dramani Mahama was sworn in on 7 January, Nana Akufo-Addo was the president.
Yeah.
That was his cousin. He had kept him in the office for more than 7 years. Now, who was controlling the airports? The office of the special prosecutor, who was controlling all these exit points. He had left a very curious letter to the incoming chief of staff. That we had seen. And it sounded benign. Because he said, the letter was actually inviting trouble, if I'll put it that way. He made it seem as if he was so open to accountability that any time he was wanted, he would just show up. So it was a very friendly, jovial letter, if you put the way he wrote to the incoming chief of staff. He said, I'm stepping out for a little medical checkup.
And if you need me, I'll be back.
If you need me, I'll be riding. So when we saw that, once again, we were not the ones controlling the exits. And then when we intercepted that letter and we saw it, was like, okay, maybe he is open to accountability. So let's see. So when power changed hands, and then we started calling, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was the 3rd week of January that we sought to bring him in. And then things went all right.
Can we conclude then that somehow he left under the watch of the NDC and...
No, he didn't. Let me put the dates very carefully. You see, this is very crucial. I said between 1st and 6th January, he was
1st
already
and 6th,
gone.
okay. My mistake.
He was already gone. I said, when he left, the president was Nana Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
At the time he left.
So
We
at the
should
time he
place
left,
this
yeah.
in a proper historical context.
Okay, okay.
And
At
I'm
the time
saying,
he left,
yeah, and I'm saying that
he had not been, Muhammad had not been sworn in yet.
no, he had not.
Okay,
And
I
I'm
just want
saying
to
that
clarify
at the time we couldn't have blocked him.
Okay.
We couldn't.
Why? Why not?
Oh, I think I've thrown a lot of innuendos around for you to come to that conclusion. I said his cousin was the president. We were not controlling the ports of exit and entry, and even then, we were not getting the cooperation at the time from other security agencies.
You weren't getting any
No, we
cooperation?
were not.
You had asked for them?
Oh, we asked for all that, but we were not. It was as if there was a policy of block the OSP out. That was what we were facing, and that was the circumstances under which we were being expected to perform. I think I've complained about these things over time, but we were on our own. It was only the police and the military that did well to still shore us up in respect of our work. National security, nope. At the time, the situation is different now. National Signals Bureau, nope. At the time, the situation is different now. National Intelligence Bureau, zero. At the time, the situation is different now. I mean, the security setup was stacked up against the OSP, so we will not be able to perform our job. This was the situation in which we found ourselves. And I'm being asked how I let Ken Ofori-Atta through this.
Yeah, but it's amazing what you're telling me now, because that's the basic complaint that's out there. You watch him leave and you made it easy for him to...
No, we didn't watch him leave. We didn't watch him leave. We were powerless. That is the truth. We were powerless. We saw him leave, but we couldn't prevent him from leaving at the airport because we couldn't. Now we can rely on Ghana Immigration Service to block someone. Now we can rely on national security.
Before then you couldn't.
To block someone. Then, and at the time he left, you call up immigration, no one will even bother to respond to you. You write to immigration, no one will even bother to respond to you. And I'm saying this unabashedly. That was the situation we found ourselves in. Once again, the OSP doesn't have a presence at the airport. The OSP doesn't control the airports and other points of exit and entry. So we rely on these other institutions. National Security, Ghana Immigration Service, they control the airports. And the other points of exit and entry. Without them, we cannot enforce our own orders in respect of the travel stop. When a situation is such that they have put on this or created this situation of non-cooperation with us at the time, it just wasn't going to work. And I'm sure you've heard since January till now that so many people have been blocked by the OSP trying to get out of the country this year alone. We've blocked at least 10 people from going. They are picked up sometimes at the door of aircraft because our orders are pending still there. This is the beauty when public institutions work together. It is a joy to see and feel that the person who is manning the gate for all of us would uphold and enforce your order that this person is needed, this person shouldn't be allowed to go. And you can rely on institutions like that. And I applaud them. The institutions have turned around. National Security is cooperating with us excellently. National Signals Bureau, I thank the head there. He's been wonderful. National Intelligence Bureau, just super.
But
Ghana Immigration Service.
But before
also.
then,
Zero. Was a zero-sum game. Was a zero-sum game. We couldn't do anything.
So now that you have that kind of collaboration going on and the linkages have changed, what can you do? And the bottom line is, so when can you bring Ken back from that's the main thing that people ask.
See, if he was living in Agbogba,
you have brought him back.
If he was no, this is just a joke.
I know.
If he was living in Agbogba, I would have had him.
But he's in the States.
We believe he's in the States. And we've always believed that he was there. Indeed, before we put him on the Interpol Red Notice, we know he left the States on 1 or 2 occasions. But we believe he's in the States. And we know the area in which he lives. The person lives in the United States. Kesi, Office of the Special Prosecutor, even the Ghana Army. We can't just go into the US, spring him up and bring him. That is what Ghanaians need to understand.
Yeah, and that is what
we are going through a certain very tedious extradition process to bring him back.
I remember in the last press conference, you had stated that when the FBI or US wanted Ghanaians taking to them, the extradition wasn't. We cooperated and let them go.
No, but in context, in this proper context, Mr. Misa, the journalist was asking me, what if
he becomes a citizen?
He becomes a citizen of the US, and I said, it should be complementary. Since we give them our citizens,
maybe they
should also be able to give us their citizens if it is clear that we really need them for criminal investigation.
Yeah, and that to many was like you couldn't commit to it. I guess maybe we are wrong, but we wanted some.
That's why I said. That's why I was joking about it. That if he lived in Agbogba, I would have. He'll be with us as we are speaking. But since he is in a foreign country, I cannot put a date on it. And even then, the central authority in respect of extradition matters in the US could decide one thing. The President of the United States can step on it and block it and say no. You get it? So far as he is in the United States of America, we cannot put a date on it that we are bringing him today, we are bringing him tomorrow. That will be
and what people are afraid to hear, maybe that's the truth, is that we have no control. We just have to rely on whatever. But it's like you can't talk with certainty when it comes to his extradition.
Anyone who talks with certainty that in extradition process you are going to get the person at all costs certainly doesn't know what he's about. You cannot. You cannot. It's like fixing a price for upstream canoeing when you've never been in a canoe before. You don't know the muscles it takes to. I'm trying to quote Shakespeare here. You don't know the muscles it takes to do that, and you are just fixing the price in the blind. The decision is not yours. Let me give you a practical example. If you're a lawyer, and I've been a lawyer since 2003. If you're a lawyer, and a client comes to you and you tell your client, I'm going to win this case for you. You're a sham of a lawyer. You do not know what you're about. You do not know what you're doing. You know why? Because you are not the judge. You are not the decision maker.
So what do you tell your client? I'll do my best.
I'll do my best. I'll put in my best. And that is our promise to Ghanaians. We are leaving no stone unturned. I said Thursday last at the press conference that we have just one shot at this. And if you have just one bullet in the gun, and
you don't aim properly.
You don't just go trying to shoot. You just aim, because one shot, if you miss, you've missed. But we are putting in everything and we're doing our best. We will not relent on this matter. And the recent history should speak for us. I related a bit of it on Thursday. I said, see,
abusuafo medamu nyina asesa mojebe na mode hwe video eye OSP Kesi ajaben ana mote ne nka ode sansem we nyina akire mu okire ma Ken Ofori-Atta ofuru on my name eye between January 1st to January 6th, and at that time no na Ken Ofori-Atta ne cousin former president, which is the N.Addo danko ekufad on na president okire ma at that time no na ya chichire ne nsa egu no bo oye hwea enye ye. He was powerless at that time because also far from every security agencies na omon peke or say on only control bia e port or security agencies na hwe ema Ken Ofori-Atta ofru omanum koye na Ken Ofori-Atta only any intention say obeba ababe account for a year ne dwumadi a odi e wa finance ministry no ho o si oni no intention of returning to Ghana initially o momu hu say enkobeba na ba account for ne dwumadi a odi e finance ministry na so say na agrubi anomudi and as it stands now no Ofori-Atta has no intention of returning to Ghana according to OSP Kesi Ajaben. And I watch say over the time ana Ofori-Atta ne Kesi no president na security agencies are a war mining nyina emfi no omunye adwuma emfa mwa ofa from po ofa from say omomwa ne say be omon stopping the pass mercy from say all free or mining ma enya dem pose obi fa no ko no nampa otie ene o kan o kirema sa tam na ontimi nya no ho hwe enti say na Ghana for to aba assistant anya omampani Papa John Dramani Mahama waboa ma all security agencies are more mining samle omotimi ebo omo corporate ward ono OSP officer otimi nya investigation ama wotimi de Ofori-Atta ato Interpol red list no then time no na ntisa na N.Addo dankwa kufuado Ofori-Atta ne Kesi no wakyekere nesa egu nachi enti na tesensem a OSP Kesi Ajaben ono nso adi to dwan assistance na ono or hwese obetimi aye de obetimi bia se ode papa no ebeba Ghana but then se papa no wo intention se obeba be face prosecution edi ebi enni ne tirim kra o Ghana ebi eno so non etifo a daily update TV so nya subscribe to the channel make sure you subscribe ediama na fin so comment bia fa video ho or be comment section ya beji enso ediama make sure you like video na wa share so dia makra so